the root of all illnesses and diseases, coldness, dampness, and gas. Hello, dear listeners. 21st century South Korea. We say we live in the most prosperous era in human history. But why are hospitals always crowded? And why do digestive aids and painkillers sell like hotcakes at pharmacies? Why do people in their 20s suffer from chronic fatigue? And why do those in their 30s already receive diagnoses for various adult diseases? The answer is surprisingly simple. The three roots of all illnesses and diseases that our ancestors warned about thousands of years ago have become even more powerful in modern society. These are coldness, dampness, and gas. Coldness, dampness, and gas in traditional Korean medicine are not simply weather phenomena. They are fundamental pathological conditions that eat away at human vitality. Coldness blocks circulation in our bodies, dampness stagnates the body's flow, and gas accumulates toxins and disrupts the nervous system. Interestingly, as modern science advances, it's becoming clear how accurate this ancient wisdom was. Immunological research showing that decreased body temperature is directly linked to immunity. Discoveries that lymphatic circulation disorders trigger autoimmune diseases, and studies on how intestinal toxins affect brain nerves are prime examples. However, to add a slightly cynical perspective here, the modern medical establishment is still more focused on treating individual symptoms rather than taking such an integrative approach. Headaches get painkillers, indigestion gets stomach medicine, insomnia gets sleep aids. It's like trying to bail water from a leaking ship without attempting to plug the hole. This book is about finding and plugging that hole. It's a practical guide to understanding the root causes of coldness, dampness, and gas, and how to manage them in modern environments. We no longer need to be stuck dealing with individual symptoms. When we treat the root, everything else follows naturally. Chapter 1. The Digital Coldness Syndrome Era, the Invisible Enemy Freezing Modern People. Coldness in traditional Korean medicine doesn't simply mean low temperature. It refers to a state where the circulation of life energy stagnates and the body's warmth disappears. In modern physiological terms, it's a phenomenon where decreased blood circulation, reduced basal metabolic rate, and autonomic nervous system imbalance occur comprehensively. Interestingly, modern society provides the perfect environment for creating coldness energy. Let's first examine physical coldness. The average indoor-outdoor temperature difference in summer reaches 15 degrees. The human body contracts blood vessels and tenses muscles to adapt to rapid temperature changes. Receiving dozens of such temperature shocks daily, our autonomic nervous system falls into a chronic stress state. More serious is behavioral coldness. Modern people's lifestyle patterns themselves are designed to lower body temperature. Sitting for long periods, decreased muscle use, irregular meals, sleep deprivation. All of these lower the basal metabolic rate and reduce body temperature. The most insidious is psychological coldness. Blue light from digital devices suppresses melatonin secretion, degrading sleep quality. Constant information bombardment overworks the brain, interfering with overall energy circulation. Comparison with others through social media increases psychological stress, disrupting the temperature regulation center. Scientifically speaking, research shows that immunity decreases by 30% for every degree of body temperature drop. While 36.5 degrees Celsius is considered normal body temperature, modern people's average body temperature is measured at 36.2 degrees Celsius. It's only a 0.3 degree difference, but in terms of immunity, this means about a 9% decrease. To add a slightly cynical perspective here, modern medicine defines 36 degrees Celsius as normal range. But this is merely lowering the standard to match modern people's averages. It's like lowering the passing grade because overall test scores have dropped, trying to solve the problem that way. The most frightening aspect of coldness syndrome is that it progresses slowly and secretly. It starts with just cold hands and feet. I naturally have cold hands and feet, we dismiss it. Next comes indigestion. It must be stress, we think. Then chronic fatigue, insomnia, and depression follow in sequence. We recognize each as separate problems and try to solve them individually, but the root cause is one. Coldness energy is blocking circulation throughout the body. The key to solving coldness syndrome is warmth recovery. But this doesn't simply mean wearing thick clothes or using heating mats. Fundamental changes in lifestyle patterns are needed. First is regular body temperature management. Upon waking in the morning, awaken the stomach with a glass of warm water and promote blood circulation with simple stretching. Check the sleeping environment during the early morning hours when body temperature is lowest and keep the abdomen and ankles warm. Second is increasing internal heat production. Regular exercise raises the basal metabolic rate, naturally increasing body temperature. Particularly, increasing lower body muscle mass directly affects whole body circulation improvement. Just walking 30 minutes daily can achieve significant improvement effects. Third is providing warmth through food. Choose warm tea instead of cold drinks, cooked food rather than raw, gentle flavors rather than stimulating ones. Actively utilize spices that warm the body like ginger, cinnamon, and garlic. For modern people, coldness management has become a necessary management item, not a choice. While we cannot give up the benefits of digital civilization, we definitely need the wisdom to minimize its side effects. If we combine our ancestors' coldness management methods accumulated over thousands of years with modern scientific temperature regulation theories, we can maintain healthy warmth even in the digital age. Chapter 2. The Information Dampness Swamp, Blocked Energy and Stagnant Life. Dampness, in traditional Korean medicine, refers to a state where waste products accumulate and qi blood circulation stagnates due to imbalanced water metabolism in the body. From a modern medical perspective, it can be interpreted as lymphatic circulation disorders, increased blood viscosity, and intercellular waste accumulation. This goes beyond simple body swelling to a serious pathological state, where the entire body's energy flow is blocked. 21st century dampness is divided into physical dampness and informational dampness. Physical dampness consists of environmental factors we experience daily. Enclosed indoor spaces, decreased sweating function due to lack of exercise, excessive water intake, and additives in processed foods disrupt the body's water metabolism. But more serious is informational dampness. Modern people process 34 gigabytes of information daily. This is equivalent to 175 newspapers. The brain is overloaded trying to process this enormous amount of information, and mental waste accumulates. It's like a computer slowing down when filled with cache and temporary files. Social media is a major source of information dampness. The constant influx of others' daily lives, advertisements and news through Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok paralyzes our brain's filtering system. Unable to distinguish between necessary and unnecessary information, we try to accept everything, falling into a state of mental indigestion. Scientifically, dampness particularly adversely affects the immune system. When lymphatic circulation stagnates, waste removal becomes difficult, maintaining a chronic inflammatory state. This is considered one of the major causes of autoimmune diseases. In fact, lymphatic circulation disorders are commonly found in patients with autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, Crohn's disease, and atopic dermatitis. Dampness also directly affects mental health. When cerebrospinal fluid circulation decreases, waste removal becomes difficult, increasing the risk of dementia or depression. During sleep, cerebrospinal fluid actively circulates to remove waste from the brain, but modern people's irregular sleep patterns interfere with this process. The most insidious aspect of dampness syndrome is that it progresses slowly and is difficult to perceive. At first, the body feels slightly heavy, but the person thinks, "Did I sleep late yesterday?" and moves on. Next, concentration decreases, and the person thinks, "Is it because of stress?" Then joints become stiff, digestion worsens, and emotional fluctuations become severe. However, the person recognizes these symptoms as separate problems, when in reality they are all different expressions of circulation disorders caused by dampness. The key to dampness removal is flow recovery. Stagnant energy must be circulated again. First is promoting physical circulation. Regular exercise, especially aerobic exercise, activates lymphatic circulation. Waste removal through sweating is also important. Use exercise or sauna that allows sufficient sweating at least 3 times per week. However, if you are over 65, excessive sweating through exercise is not recommended. Massage or acupressure also helps local circulation improvement. Second is mental purification process. Information diet is necessary. Set aside certain times during the day to turn off all digital devices and do nothing. Focus on single activities like meditation, reading or walking to reduce the brain's information processing burden. Third is normalizing water metabolism. Rather than drinking large amounts of water indiscriminately, consume appropriate amounts regularly. Choose lukewarm water over cold water, and water with electrolytes over plain water, utilizing red beans, corn silk tea, and cassia seed tea that help diuretic action is even better. Fourth is environmental humidity management. Maintain indoor humidity between 40 to 60% and promote air circulation with regular ventilation. Use dehumidifiers or air purifiers, but be careful not to rely only on mechanical solutions. For modern people, dampness management has become a survival skill. In the information flood era, we need to learn how to turn off the mental water tap and the wisdom to intentionally create circulation in non-moving lifestyle patterns. Dampness is invisible, but its effects are real and widespread. When discovered early and actively managed, we can regain clear and vibrant energy. Chapter 3: The Toxic Gas Storm, the Invisible Poison, Tormenting Modern People. Gas, in traditional Korean medicine, refers to a pathological state where toxins or waste products accumulated in the body stimulate the nervous system, causing various convulsions, tremors, and paralysis symptoms. In modern medical terms, it can be interpreted as neurotransmitter imbalance, increased inflammatory cytokines, and autonomic nervous system disruption. Gas appears unpredictably and suddenly, with characteristics that make treatment difficult. Modern society is a perfect toxin factory that creates gas. Let's first examine external toxins. Air pollution, heavy metals, plastic chemicals, pesticide residues, preservatives and artificial additives enter our bodies daily. According to the World Health Organization, modern people are exposed to 500 times more chemicals than their ancestors. More serious are internal toxins, excessive cortisol secretion due to stress, growth hormone deficiency due to sleep deprivation, and blood sugar fluctuations due to irregular meals create inflammatory substances within the body. These internal toxins are more persistent and harder to remove than external toxins. The most insidious are mental toxins. Negative information constantly flowing in from the 24-hour connected digital environment, comparison and competitive consciousness through social media, and pressure from a performance-oriented society continuously cause the brain to secrete stress hormones. This ultimately makes the nervous system sensitive, triggering gas syndrome. Scientifically, toxins affect the entire body through the brain-gut axis. When intestinal toxins increase, the intestinal barrier is damaged, and inflammatory substances enter the bloodstream. These pass through the blood-brain barrier to cause brain inflammation and create neurotransmitter imbalances. In fact, inflammatory substances related to intestinal toxins are being found in the brains of Parkinson's and Alzheimer's patients. Toxins also impair mitochondrial function, interfering with cellular energy production. This becomes a direct cause of chronic fatigue, decreased concentration, and depression. Organs with high energy requirements like the brain and heart are particularly affected by toxins. To add a slightly cynical perspective here, modern medicine often classifies the causes of gas syndrome as idiopathic: essential tremor, idiopathic facial paralysis, unexplained dizziness, etc. But it's not that the causes are unknown. Rather, the causes are too complex and multi-layered to explain with a single cause. The impact of modern medicine's gas-related diseases is like trying to explain the cause of complex traffic congestion with a single car. The most frightening aspect of gas syndrome is its unpredictability. Suddenly hands shake, eyelids twitch, face becomes paralyzed, or dizziness occurs. Why suddenly? We panic, but in reality, it's toxins accumulated over a long time, reaching a critical point. It appears as if a dam suddenly bursts, but actually, it's the result of cracks progressing for a long time. The key to gas detoxification is toxin removal and nerve stabilization. Rather than simply suppressing symptoms, the fundamental causes of toxin accumulation must be removed. First is blocking external toxins. Use air purifiers, choose organic foods, minimize plastic container use, and use natural detergents instead of chemical cleaners to reduce toxin exposure. Perfect blocking is impossible, but minimizing exposure is important. Second is strengthening detoxification functions. Activate the detoxification functions of the liver, kidneys, lungs, and intestines. Adequate water intake, supplementation of detoxification nutrients like glutathione, vitamin C, and alpha-lipoic acid, and circulation promotion through regular exercise are necessary. Particularly actively consume broccoli, cabbage, garlic, and turmeric that help liver detoxification function. Third is improving intestinal environment. Increase beneficial intestinal bacteria through probiotic supplementation, prebiotic intake, and fermented food consumption. Fasting or intermittent fasting to give the intestines rest is also effective. Fourth is nervous system stabilization. Stabilize the autonomic nervous system through meditation, yoga, and breathing techniques. Activate the brain's toxin removal function with regular sleep. During sleep, the glymphatic system operates to remove toxins from the brain. Fifth is mental detoxification. Reduce mental toxins through blocking negative information, stress management, and building positive relationships. Digital detox, contact with nature, and artistic activities are helpful. For modern people, gas management is more important for prevention than treatment. Once abnormalities occur in the nervous system, recovery takes a long time. Don't neglect the daily accumulation of small amounts of toxins, but consciously create detoxification habits. Gas appears suddenly, but it's not a great threat to those who are prepared. Chapter 4. The triple attack of coldness, dampness, gas, the real identity of modern diseases. Traditional Korean medicine viewed that when coldness, dampness, and gas act simultaneously, the most complex and difficult to treat conditions appear. In modern medical interpretation, it's a state where circulatory disorders, combined with lymphatic circulation stagnation, diseases, and nervous system disruption, symptoms, work together to cause systemic functional abnormalities. At this point, treatment for individual symptoms makes fundamental resolution difficult. Scientifically, the interaction of coldness-dampness gas creates synergy effects. Vasoconstriction due to coldness makes dampness removal difficult, and circulation disorders due to dampness accelerate toxin accumulation. Toxin accumulation disrupts the temperature regulation center, causing more severe coldness. A vicious cycle is formed. Particularly, the autonomic nervous system responds most sensitively to such complex stress. As the balance between sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves breaks down, various idiopathic symptoms appear. Headaches, dizziness, heart palpitations, indigestion, insomnia, depression, etc. appear and disappear without order or pattern. To add a slightly cynical perspective here, modern medicine classifies these complex symptoms as functional diseases. This means there are no structural abnormalities, but functional problems. However, this tends to turn medical limitations into patient problems. The approach of tests show no abnormalities, so it must be a mental problem, makes patients even more confused. The most insidious aspect of coldness-dampness gas complex syndrome is the difficulty of diagnosis. For example, individual symptoms are all within normal ranges. Body temperature is 36 degrees, which indicates slightly low but normal range. Then blood pressure is 120/80, also normal. Blood sugar is 90, also normal. And cholesterol level is 200, also normal. But the patient is clearly ill. It's like a car, where the engine, brakes, and steering wheel are each normal individually. But overall they don't work properly, because they're not connected well. Another characteristic is symptom variability. Some days are fine, and some days symptoms are severe. Symptoms change according to seasons, weather, or stressful situations. This is because coldness-dampness gas reacts sensitively to environmental changes. Patients themselves often express it as "my condition fluctuates." The key to resolving coldness-dampness gas complex syndrome is integrative approach. Rather than responding to individual symptoms, the overall lifestyle pattern must be redesigned. First is integrated environmental management. Living space design that simultaneously considers temperature, humidity, and air quality is necessary. Environments that minimize the effects of coldness-dampness gas must be created at home and work. This includes changes in space usage patterns, not just mechanical equipment issues. Second is managing time rhythms. The intensity of coldness-dampness gas management must be adjusted according to daily, weekly, and seasonal rhythms. Structure mornings for warmth charging, daytime for circulation promotion, and evenings for detoxification and rest. Third is utilizing complex treatment methods. Approach exercise, nutrition, sleep, and stress management as a package. Rather than doing them one by one sequentially, approach from multiple directions simultaneously for effectiveness. Fourth is prevention priority. It's much more effective to manage in advance, to prevent coldness-dampness gas accumulation, rather than treating after symptoms appear. Small daily habits create big changes in the long term. For modern people, coldness-dampness gas management is not a choice, but a survival skill. Wisdom is needed to enjoy the benefits of 21st century civilization while minimizing its side effects. When we combine our ancestors' experience with modern scientific knowledge, we can escape the maze of complex modern diseases. Chapter 5: Office Workers' Survival Strategy: Fighting the Invisible War in the Office. Modern offices are perfect systems for producing coldness-dampness gas. Enclosed spaces for energy efficiency, powerful air conditioning to maintain constant indoor temperature, work characteristics requiring long periods of sitting, organizational culture where stress has become routine. All of these combine to slowly erode office workers' health. Let's first examine the coldness in offices. Most offices maintain indoor temperatures at 22 to 24 degrees in summer. When the outside temperature is 35 degrees, the indoor-outdoor temperature difference reaches 13 degrees. The human body continuously consumes energy to adapt to such rapid temperature changes. Entering and exiting buildings dozens of times a day, our body's temperature regulation system falls into chronic overload. More serious is localized coldness. Office workers sitting in seats directly exposed to air conditioning wind have their necks and shoulders continuously exposed to cold air. There are acupuncture points called feng qi and feng fu at the back of the neck, and when these become cold, whole body qi blood circulation is blocked according to Korean medicine. Even from a modern medical perspective, when blood vessels and nerves in the neck area contract, blood flow to the brain decreases, potentially causing headaches, dizziness, and decreased concentration. The dampness problem in offices is more complex. In enclosed spaces where many people breathe, humidity rises, but the air becomes dry due to air conditioning's dehumidifying function. In this contradictory situation, our body's moisture regulation system becomes confused. It's dry on the outside, but damp on the inside. Like semi-dried laundry, a state of being neither completely dry nor completely wet continues. Sitting posture accelerates dampness accumulation. Maintaining the same posture for 8 hours significantly reduces lower body blood and lymphatic circulation. Particularly, the calf muscle is called the second heart for its important role in blood circulation, and when this muscle doesn't move, whole body circulation stagnates. Legs becoming swollen and heavy in the afternoon is precisely because of this. Gas, or toxins, in offices are the most diverse and persistent. Toner powder from printers and copiers, formaldehyde released from new furniture, insecticides in carpets and wallpaper, cleaning chemicals, etc., pollute indoor air. Add to this excessive cortisol secretion due to work stress, blood sugar fluctuations due to irregular meals, and hormonal imbalances due to sleep deprivation, and the amount of toxins in the body rapidly increases. The most insidious are mental toxins. The endless work stream of emails, messengers, meetings, and reports overloads the brain. In modern offices where multitasking has become routine, office workers switch tasks on average every 11 minutes. In this environment, the brain continuously secretes stress hormones, which become nervous system toxins. To add a slightly cynical perspective here, many companies say they value employee health, but in reality, they often create environments that harm health and then blame individuals for lack of self-management. They build company gyms but don't give time to use them due to overtime work, conduct health checkups but don't provide fundamental improvement measures for the results. Office workers' coldness, dampness, gas countermeasures are close to guerrilla warfare. Since we can't change the system, we must find the best methods individuals can use in given environments. First is creating a personal microclimate. Create a small, healthy environment centered around your desk. Place small humidifiers or air-purifying plants. Prepare scarves or blankets to keep neck and shoulders warm. Use small heating mats or cushions under feet. Second is intentionally creating circulation. Get up from your seat every hour for 5 minutes of simple stretching or walking. Intentionally increase everyday activities like going to the bathroom, drinking water, or copying to create movement opportunities. During lunch breaks, go outside whenever possible to expose yourself to natural environments. This is strongly recommended. Third is office detoxification methods. Help toxin elimination through adequate water intake. Consider wearing masks on days with severe chemical odors. Consume beverages with antioxidant effects like green tea or herbal tea. And choose lunch menus that include foods helpful for detoxification like broccoli, cabbage, and garlic. Fourth is utilizing commuting time. Stand as much as possible on subways or buses to help lower body circulation. Increase exercise by getting off one stop earlier to walk or using stairs. Secure time for simple exercise or meditation before work or after work. Fifth is intensive weekend management. Intensively resolve coldness dampness gas accumulated during weekdays on weekends. Relieve the week's accumulated stress through saunas or jjilbangs, hiking or cycling, massage or stretching. Office workers' health management is like a marathon. Rather than expecting dramatic short-term changes, daily steady management is important. For modern office workers who live 8 hours a day in offices, concentrations of coldness dampness gas, conscious and active health management has become a survival strategy. Chapter 6. Building Fortress at Home, Making Our House a Healing Space. Let's examine the structural characteristics of modern residential environments. Sealed apartments designed for energy efficiency, central heating and cooling systems to maintain constant indoor temperature, various electronic products to remove moisture, various chemical products for convenience. All of these combine to often create sick houses while trying to make healthy ones. The coldness problem at home is more serious than expected. Indoor-outdoor temperature differences of 10 to 15 degrees in summer are common. Particularly, temperature changes when falling asleep and waking up place great burden on the autonomic nervous system. The morning sore throat that many people think, "Did I catch a cold?" might actually be due to excessive coldness exposure during the night. More problematic is localized coldness. When bedroom air conditioning sends wind directly toward the head area, or when living room fans continuously cool only specific body parts. Traditional Korean medicine said the head should be cool and feet warm, but modern cooling systems often operate in the opposite way. The dampness problem at home is more complex. Humidity generation from cooking, laundry and showering, and humidity removal through dehumidifiers and air conditioners repeat, making indoor humidity unstable. Particularly, extreme dryness due to winter heating and extreme humidity due to summer rainy seasons alternate, confusing our body's moisture regulation system. Stagnant energy in indoor spaces is also problematic. Family members spending long periods in their individual rooms results in poor air circulation. Particularly, children's rooms have high carbon dioxide concentrations and low oxygen concentrations due to long periods of closed doors for studying. This causes decreased concentration and fatigue. The toxin problem at home is the most insidious. Formaldehyde from new furniture, chemical components in detergents and air fresheners, endocrine disruptors leaching from plastic containers, electromagnetic waves from electronic products continuously affect family members 24 hours. Children are particularly more sensitive to toxins than adults, requiring extra caution. Mental toxins are also serious. The quantity and quality of information each family member receives through smartphones, tablets, and TV affects the overall atmosphere of the home. Negative news, stimulating content, and competitive educational information can turn homes into stress spaces. To add a slightly cynical perspective here, modern homes are full of products that harm health while pursuing healthy living. They buy antibacterial detergents, air fresheners, air purifiers, humidifiers, and dehumidifiers, thinking they're managing health. But these products themselves often emit chemicals or consume excessive energy, creating other problems. Making the home a healing space is a matter of integrated design. Rather than solving individual problems, the overall living environment must be restructured. First is natural temperature management. Maintain indoor-outdoor temperature differences within 5 to 7 degrees. About 28 degrees in summer and 20 degrees in winter are appropriate. Create environments that allow gradual adaptation rather than rapid temperature changes. Use fans or circulators to help air circulation and avoid direct coldness exposure. Second is natural humidity regulation. Prefer natural humidity control, using plants over mechanical humidification or dehumidification. Maintain appropriate indoor humidity of 40 to 60% while naturally accepting seasonal changes. Use natural methods like drying laundry indoors or boiling water. Third is creating space flow. Open all windows for ventilation at certain times during the day. Increase opportunities for family members to spend time together in common spaces. Secure time to keep doors between rooms open for air circulation. Fourth is natural material priority. Use natural materials like baking soda, vinegar, and lemon instead of chemical detergents. Reduce plastic container use and choose glass or stainless steel containers. Use natural aroma oils or herbs instead of air fresheners. Fifth is operating digital detox time periods. Set aside certain times during the day to turn off all electronic devices and create time for family to talk or read together. Don't place TVs or computers in bedrooms and charge smartphones outside bedrooms. Sixth is creating family health rhythms. Make coldness, dampness, gas management routine for the whole family through exercising together, cooking together, and cleaning together. Individual health management is important, but family unit health habits are more sustainable. Home is not simply a space for sleeping and eating. It should be a healing space that resolves the day's coldness, dampness, gas attacks and charges energy for tomorrow. Just as our ancestors valued direction and sight when building houses, modern people must consciously manage their homes to become true sanctuaries. Chapter 7. Battle with Social Systems, Confronting the Giant Coldness, Dampness, Gas Production Factory. Modern society is a giant factory that systematically produces and distributes coldness, dampness, gas. From urban planning to architectural design, transportation systems, work environments, and consumption patterns, everything operates in the opposite direction of humans' natural biological rhythms. Let's first examine the city's coldness system. Modern cities create artificial climates. Buildings dozens of stories high block wind paths, and asphalt and concrete absorb heat during the day and release it at night, creating heat island effects. To solve this, more powerful air conditioning is operated, and as a result, hot air from outdoor units further raises city temperatures. This is a vicious cycle. Subways and underground shopping areas are giant coldness storage facilities. Due to the nature of underground spaces, natural ventilation is difficult, and because many people gather, powerful air conditioning is essential. Millions of people go through these coldness spaces daily, receiving repeated shocks to their temperature regulation systems. Society's dampness system is more complex. Physically, there's humidity increase due to increased impermeable surfaces in cities. Mentally, there's thought stagnation due to information overload occurring simultaneously. Particularly, the structural characteristics of information society create information floods at levels individuals cannot control. News media pours out stimulating information 24 hours a day. Social media encourages constant comparison and competition. Advertisements create anxiety to induce consumption, and educational systems emphasize performance and competition, increasing stress. All this information accumulates in the brain, forming mental dampness. Structural problems in work environments are also serious. Most workplaces consist of jobs done sitting for long periods, and performance evaluation systems create continuous stress. They pursue work-life balance, but in reality, it's just pressure to work more efficiently. Society's toxin system is the most insidious and widespread. Air pollution, water pollution, and soil pollution are basic, with various chemical additives, plastic microparticles, and electromagnetic waves added. Modern people are exposed to such toxic environments from birth to death. The most insidious are toxins packaged in the name of safety. Antibacterial agents, preservatives, Insecticides and herbicides are used for health and safety, but actually accumulate in the human body, causing long-term health problems. Children are particularly sensitive to such toxins, but social systems don't consider this. To add a slightly cynical perspective here, modern society has a dual structure of creating coldness, dampness, gas problems while simultaneously selling solutions as products. They create stress through city life, then sell healing products, damage bodies with processed foods, then sell health supplements. The root causes of problems remain unchanged, while only symptom relief products increase. More ironic is that many products claiming to be eco-friendly or well-being actually increase coldness, dampness, gas. Eco-friendly air conditioners, well-being refrigerators, healthy instant foods are all contradictory concepts. But just because social systems are powerful doesn't mean individuals are completely powerless. While it's impossible to confront giant systems head-on, we can find gaps in those systems to create our own survival strategies. First is selective participation strategy. We can't reject everything in social systems, but we can participate selectively. Distinguish between absolutely necessary things and merely convenient things, and choose considering effects on health. Second is building alternative networks. Create networks with people who have similar values to share information and mutually support each other. Community purchases of organic foods, exercising together, sharing nature-friendly lifestyle information are possible. Third is pursuing minimal lifestyle. Reduce ownership and consumption, pursue simple and natural living. This includes not only reducing material consumption, but also information consumption, relationship consumption, and experience consumption. Fourth is strengthening connection with nature. Intentionally create opportunities to connect with nature even in city life. Weekend hiking, park walks, growing indoor plants, using natural material products to utilize nature's healing power. Fifth is political participation and social voice. Since individual efforts have limitations, participate in activities for policy changes or social awareness improvement. Take interest in issues like environmental protection, creating healthy cities, and improving work environments, and raise your voice. The battle with social systems is like a marathon. Rather than expecting dramatic short-term changes, it's important to steadily create alternatives from a long-term perspective. Changing giant systems takes time, but methods to live healthily within those systems definitely exist. Chapter 8. Enlightenment and Awakening. Life philosophy beyond coldness, dampness, gas. So far, we've discussed methods to defeat coldness, dampness, gas by treating them as enemies. But from a deeper dimension, coldness, dampness, gas are also teachers of our lives. They teach us nature's rhythms, make us listen to our body's signals, and help us realize what's truly important. Traditional Eastern philosophy views all phenomena as interactions of yin and yang. Cold and heat, dampness and dryness, gas and stillness are relationships that oppose yet complement each other. Problems arise when this balance breaks down. Therefore, the real solution is not completely eliminating one side, but restoring balance. Modern science is reaching similar conclusions. The human body tends to maintain homeostasis. It maintains internal environment constant, even when external environment changes. But for this system to work properly, appropriate stimulation and challenges are necessary. In completely protected environments, adaptability actually decreases. For example, moderate cold activates brown fat to improve temperature regulation ability. Moderate exercise stresses muscles to make them stronger. Moderate mental challenges increase brain plasticity to improve cognitive ability. The problem lies in excess, not in existence itself. From this perspective, the ultimate goal of coldness, dampness, gas management is not completely eliminating them, but controlling them at appropriate levels. Like a gardener caring for plants, watering neither too much nor too little, providing sunlight and wind exposure. To add a slightly cynical perspective here, modern society's obsession with perfection often worsens problems. Trying to create completely sterile environments weakens immunity. Trying to create completely comfortable environments reduces adaptability. Trying to solve all inconveniences with smartphones atrophies the brain's problem-solving abilities. True wisdom begins with accepting that complete control is impossible. We can't change weather, can't stop aging, and can't completely eliminate stress. But we can choose how to respond to these changes. The relationship with coldness, dampness, gas is the same. Rather than trying to completely block them, we must learn to establish healthy relationships. Sometimes facing cold wind to clear the mind. Sometimes cultivating body flexibility in humid air. Sometimes demonstrating concentration in stressful situations. This philosophical approach has meaning at practical levels too. A friendly mindset toward coldness, dampness, gas actually brings better results than an antagonistic mindset. According to stress research, even in the same situation, physiological responses are completely different depending on whether we perceive it as a threat or a challenge. If we see coldness, dampness, gas as enemies attacking my body, we respond defensively and passively. Conversely, if we see them as signals informing my body's balance, active and creative responses become possible. The former focuses on symptom suppression, while the latter focuses on fundamental balance recovery. Actually, looking at common characteristics of people who maintain health for long periods, they don't live in perfect environments, but have the ability to adapt well to various environments. They have the flexibility to respond according to cold when it's cold, heat when it's hot, and stress when in stressful situations. This flexibility doesn't develop overnight. Long-term experience and learning are necessary. And above all, learning through failure is important. Trying to manage perfectly and failing, then through that failure, better understanding one's limits and body signals. The highest level of coldness, dampness, gas management is naturally maintaining balance without conscious effort, like a skilled driver naturally operating a car without conscious thought, sensitively detecting body signals and automatically making appropriate responses. At this stage, health management becomes not the center of life, but the foundation supporting life. Not living for health, but managing health to do what you want to do. Coldness, dampness. Gas management also becomes not an end in itself, but a means for a richer life. From this perspective, modern people suffering from coldness, dampness, gas problems might be a natural process. It's a process of struggling to adapt to rapidly changing environments. The important thing is not giving up in this process, but continuing to learn and grow. We live in the most complex and ever-changing environment in human history, but we also have the most knowledge and tools. If we combine our ancestors' wisdom with modern scientific achievements, we can not only overcome this challenge, but achieve higher levels of health and happiness. The fight with coldness, dampness, gas is ultimately a fight with oneself. Changing one's perception and response methods is more effective and sustainable than changing external environments. And such internal changes positively affect external environments too. When healthy individuals gather, they become a healthy society, and healthy societies create healthy environments. Chapter 9. Korean Traditional Hwalbeop, the perfected technique of coldness, dampness, gas treatment. Here's an important fact we must know. Korea has long had a unique method for most effectively managing and treating coldness, dampness, gas. This is Hwalbeop, a martial therapeutic art. Hwalbiop is completely different from simple massage or acupressure. This is a sophisticated technique that applies martial arts principles to treatment, opening blocked meridians and promoting stagnant qi blood flow to solve the root causes of coldness, dampness, gas. Historical basis and tradition of Hwalbiop. Hwalbiop's origins are very ancient. In Heojun's Donggi Bogam from the Joseon dynasty, there are records of manual methods to resolve blood stasis and qi stagnation caused by trauma, which was the early form of Hwalbiop. Also in Muyadobutongji, compiled in late Joseon period, methods to treat injured people are recorded in detail, showing that martial arts and treatment methods developed as one system. Particularly noteworthy is that Hwalbiop developed specialized in coldness, dampness, gas treatment. Traditional martial artists were inevitably exposed to coldness, dampness, gas during harsh training, and Hwalbiop was systematized in the process of self-treating this, resolving coldness from early morning winter training, dampness from long static postures, and toxin accumulation from intense training and combat, was Hwalbiop's core task. Principles and characteristics of Hwalbiop. Hwalbiop has the following unique characteristics. First, the principle of meridian communication. Hwalbiop accurately identifies the body's 12 meridians and 8 extraordinary vessels, finding blocked areas and opening them. This is not simply loosening muscles, but restoring energy flow itself. Second, utilization of martial mechanics. It applies force principles from traditional martial arts, like taekwondo, Syrium, Korean wrestling, and archery to treatment. It restores the body's structural balance with precise angles, directions, and appropriate force intensity. Third, harmony with breathing. In Hwalbiop, the practitioner and patient's breathing are synchronized to maximize qi flow. This enables mental and energetic treatment beyond simple physical treatment. Effects of Hwalbiop from modern perspective. From a modern medical perspective, Hwalbiop's effects can be explained as follows. First, improved blood circulation. Activates capillary circulation through precise pressure point stimulation to resolve coldness. Second, lymphatic circulation promotion. Sequential stimulation along meridians releases lymphatic stagnation to discharge dampness. Third, nervous system regulation. Restores autonomic nervous system balance through specific acupoint stimulation to help toxin elimination. Fourth, fascia relaxation. Uses precise pressure with martial mechanics to relax deep fascia. Actual coldness, dampness, gas treatment through Hwalbiop. When treating coldness, dampness, gas with Hwalbiop, it proceeds in the following order. First, diagnosis. Identify the location and degree of coldness, dampness, gas through pulse diagnosis and observation. Second, meridian communication. Sequentially open blocked meridians. Third, QI blood regulation. Balance whole body QI blood circulation. Fourth, toxin elimination. Promote toxin elimination through specific acupoint stimulation. Fifth, relapse prevention. Educate self-Hwalbiop that can be practiced daily. Particularly noteworthy is that Hwalbiop shows immediate effects. Even with one treatment, you can immediately feel coldness disappearing and blocked areas opening. This is because Hwalbiop acts directly on root causes. For modern people, Hwalbiop is a precious opportunity to experience ancestral wisdom beyond simple treatment. Those suffering from coldness, dampness, gas are strongly recommended to actively consider treatment through Hwalbiop. Our unique treatment method verified over thousands of years will greatly help your health recovery. Conclusion. Survival wisdom for a new era. Now that a quarter of the 21st century has passed, we still face the challenge of coldness, dampness, gas that has been passed down from ancient times. No matter how advanced technology becomes, no matter how progressive civilization becomes, the human body still follows nature's laws. Rather, the farther we move from nature, the more strictly these laws seem to be applied. What we've examined so far is not simply health management methods. This is wisdom for living harmoniously with modern civilization, methods for maintaining unwavering center in rapidly changing times, and above all, philosophy for pursuing human-like living. The reason the ancient concept of coldness, dampness, gas remains valid in modern times is simple. Human essence doesn't change. We still need warmth, circulation, and cleanliness. Even with smartphones in our hands, we long for warm touch. Even living in high-rise buildings, we miss nature's wind. Even with abundant convenient food, a carefully prepared meal is precious. Modern people's tragedy lies in forgetting how to satisfy these basic needs. When the body is cold, we don't know why it's cold. When the mind is blocked, we don't know how to open it. When toxins accumulate, we don't know how to discharge them. We clearly feel symptoms, but don't know the causes, so we depend only on temporary solutions. But now we know. The identity of coldness, dampness, gas, how they appear transformed in modern society, and how to manage them. Above all, this is not simply a bodily problem, but a matter of balance and harmony in entire life. To add a final cynical perspective here, probably in 10 years, another innovative health method will emerge. Things like AI utilizing personalized treatment or perfect health management through gene editing. But even then, people will still be suffering from coldness, dampness, gas, because it's a fundamental problem that technology cannot solve. The real answer lies not in complex technology or expensive treatments. It lies in old wisdom of living according to nature's rhythms, listening to body signals, and pursuing balance and harmony. This is not something that can be bought with money, but something obtained through daily small choices and practices. Coldness, dampness. Gas management is ultimately about improving quality of life. It's the foundation that enables working more vigorously, loving more deeply, forming more meaningful relationships, and doing more creative work. A healthy body is a tool that makes dreams reality, and coldness, dampness, gas management is the method to maintain that tool well. The era we live in is full of challenges: environmental pollution, climate change, social conflicts, economic instability. Problems to solve are piled up. But these giant problems must ultimately be solved by healthy individuals gathering together. How can people exhausted by coldness, dampness, gas change the world? Therefore, coldness, dampness, gas management has social and historical meaning beyond personal dimensions. When each of us becomes healthy, our society becomes healthy too. When we live harmoniously with nature, our civilization becomes sustainable too. What we should truly pursue is wisely welcoming all seasons, flexibly adapting to all changes, and living our best in given environments. Coldness, dampness. Gas management is precisely the first step towards such wise living. Now it's your turn. Start from today. No, from this very moment. Small changes will create great miracles.